The Subway Postgame Show is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Subway, home of the famous $5 footlong.
I'm James Brown alongside my NFL Today crew. They would be Dan Marino, Coach Bill Cowher, Shannon, Sharpe, and Boomer Esiason as we welcome you to the Subway Postgame Show. Impressions from early games today from the guys, Dan.
Well, first of all, Miami going into Kansas City, winning that game, knowing they had to win to try to control their destiny, going into New York next week and being able to handle that game when their defense really wasn't playing that well. And just hats off to Chad Pennington, who was released by the New York Jets and then goes into Miami. And now going from 1-15, this team has a chance to win the AFC East. I think it's incredible for them.
You know, I'm going to talk about the Pittsburgh-Tennessee game and the Tennessee Titans. I mean, you talk about a week ago they lose at Houston. You know, sometimes a loss we talked about before is good. I think it was good for them. They regained the edge. They went into this game without Van den Bosch, without Hainsworth. This is a defense that had 5 sacks, 4 turnovers, and Kerry Collins got on track. He looked like the Kerry Collins that came in early in the season. The only thing I would say about the Tennessee win, be careful what you do at the end of the game. That little bit of tarnishing of the towel. And hey, listen, I'm just looking from the outside
it's
going in.
To you, man.
Well, I'm just saying, these two teams could meet again. But I'll tell you what, I was impressed with how Tennessee responded, and I think they regained a little bit of that edge today.
Coach, you talked about it, and you talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had won 5 straight going into this ball game, had big wins over the Dallas Cowboys, come from behind, big win over the Baltimore Ravens. But as you talked about, Coach, you can't keep living on borrowed time. You can't keep turning the football over like they have been and expect your defense to bail you out, because sooner or later, instead of those 3 that they're making offenses settle for, they're going to start getting touchdowns. And that's what happened today. Ben Roethlisberger got sacked 5 times. He turned it over 4 times. And when you do that against a very good football team, you lose the ball game. I think Tennessee got back. They convinced themselves and the rest of the world, we're a good football team. Yeah, we lost last week against the Texans, but we're better than what we showed last week.
And that defense, before we go to the defense for the first time this season gave up over 300 yards.
Yes.
So that record stops at 14. They had a chance after today, had a chance to set the record today. They just couldn't do it.
You know, a couple other good insights over the weekend. First and foremost, the Baltimore Ravens going into Dallas and knocking them off.
Wow.
How about that team?
Yeah.
And they own their own destiny. They play Jacksonville at home next week. Look for them to get into the playoffs. That means it's a really good chance that an 11-5 team doesn't make the playoffs, and that 11-5 team might be the New England Patriots. And how about Matt Castle? You know, Charlie Castle, he tells us every week about who's going to be a hot free agent. That guy solidified a big money contract today by throwing for 345 yards and 3 touchdowns in that weather in New England. And then finally, when I take a look at this, I just want to echo what Dan said about Chad Pennington. What a great guy. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. He got run right out of New York, and basically don't let the door hit you in the backside when you're getting out of here. And he has absolutely played fantastic for the Dolphins.
Matt Castle leave, does he get to take Randy Moss and Wes Welker with him?
Well, whoever he goes, he better take Josh McDaniels, their offensive coordinator, with him. I can tell you that.
Whenever Boomer hears about those big numbers, he says, boy, I wish I could play quarterback again.
That's right.
All right, thanks for joining us on the Subway Postgame Show.